Hello, fiber fans, friends, and followers. My name is Beth, and I am here to talk to you about all of the fun, yarny things I've gotten into recently. I just came back from the Makers Meetup in Hoffman Estates, Illinois, so I have some things to share about that. I did some shopping while I was there, so I've got some new things to show. And I did a whole lot of knitting while I was there, so I've got that to talk about. Today is Friday, August 2nd, and I only have 2 weeks of summer left to just knit. So after that, I'll be going back to school where, if you've not been following, you wouldn't know that I am a teacher's aide. So I will not have as much time to knit because I will be working and enjoying my time with students and teachers and everyone at school. So let's start with a knit along that I'm participating in. Stephanie of Texas Peach Knits runs it is a knit along. It is a knit along. It is her Fluff Your Stash Mal. So I have been coloring all of these little yarn balls as I do things to help me use up stash yarn and move things out of stash and into finished objects, or in some cases, I just remembered I destashed something that I can color in. I forgot about that. Yes. So if you destash by giving yarn away or in any way use your stash or organize your stash, then there are different rules about how you color what. And so I'm still on my first yarn bucket, and if you notice all of these blue ones, you get to color in 2 blue ones every time you work on an old project. So I think it's anything started before June of 2024. I have multiple projects that I have started before then, and I've been working on them every day. So, yay me. I gave away some yarn at the Makers Meetup. And it was just this huge ball of a super bulky yarn. And I think it was called something like a blanket yarn or something like that. And I had tried knitting with it, and it just hurt my hands. It was not pleasant to knit with for me. And I was hoping that somebody would find joy in doing something with that yarn. It was an acrylic, but I put that on. There was a give and take table at the meetup, and I put that ball of yarn on that table. It disappeared. I don't know who ended up with it, but I'm happy that somebody has it, and hopefully it gets used as something that someone else can enjoy. I did, though. Where did I put that? It was on the table when I came in here. I did pick up, here it is, buried under one of my whips. I picked up this yarn. I'm not sure what it is. Oh, no. I am sure because they wrote on it, it says Cascade 220 Superwash. So somebody I think just picked this up and handed it to me and said, "This looks like your color." They're right. I don't know what it wants to be, but it's almost like I swapped one skein for another skein. But this I will definitely use. It will be of better use to me than the yarn that I had and gave away. So look at that. I've already done a new to me. and I haven't even talked about what I'm wearing yet. So I will save the rest of my new things for the later parts of the video because I have a format. I do what I'm wearing, then I do finished objects, which, by the way, I have none. And then works in progress, and then new to me. So I'm sorry I'm out of order. I hope that hasn't thrown you guys off so much that you have to change the channel. Do you do that on YouTube? Change the channel? I feel like that was a very boomer thing for me to say. Anyhow, okay. What have I got? Oh, what I'm wearing. So today I am wearing something that I did a twirl in earlier, so I will show you my twirl video while I am talking about it. This is something that I did as a test knit in 2022, and I loved this pattern when I saw it on Instagram. It is the Imprint Summer Top by Aneta, Szydlak-Bleyer. And on Instagram, she is knitting.adventures. I loved how this looked because I was looking for something that sort of had I was hoping for it to be more like a halter top, so that like this circle that you knit on top comes down like sort of a V, and I feel like it looked more like that when I saw it on hers. And I think mine has stretched out quite a bit because I used Shibui Pebble. And it's funny, I was looking at my notes for this. I didn't remember that I used to put yarn composition in my show notes. Does that interest you guys? Like, would you want to see that in show notes, or do you feel like you could look that up for yourself? I don't know. Maybe I added it to my show notes last time because I might have said, oh, I don't remember the composition, I'll put it in the notes. I don't know. So anyway, I found it. It is 48% silk, which is why this is a very light fingering weight. 36% merino and 16% cashmere goat. The colorway of this yarn is graffiti. I believe, my understanding is Shibui is no longer making yarn, but I think Jimmy Beans is taking over the Shibui yarn line. I could be entirely wrong about that, but if you're interested in this yarn, that is where I would recommend you look. What I loved about this was the zigzag pattern that I kind of tried to do a little close-up of at the end of my twirl. And also the shape of it in general. But I think because this is 48% silk, it's stretched out quite a bit. I don't know that I ever truly got gauge. I think I remember, you know how, I don't know if any of you are like me in this respect, but when I am trying to get gauge, I get impatient, and especially because this was a test knit and I was like, I just need to get this on the needle so that I can get this thing done in time for, the deadline of this test knit. So I think I lost patience in trying to get the right gauge, and I think I should have done a little more thought and figured out how to get gauged. Anyhow, like I said at the beginning, I have no finished objects. Did I say that at the beginning? I've recorded the beginning multiple times. I have no finished objects. So I'm going to head into works in progress. So, part of the problem of looking straight out this way into the sunlight, looking down at my computer screen again, I can't tell where my mouse is. So I try to scroll down on the screen, but I'm in the wrong place to scroll down. And I can't see where my pointer is. So anyhow, Hinterland is my first work in progress. This got a lot of love at the meetup. Speaking of the meetup, let me just say thank you to Penny and Kendra. If you're watching, thank you so much for running this event. It was such a fun event. And seriously, I feel like with knitting gatherings, less is more. I love how this is run as just everybody get together, make your crafts, talk to people, mingle, find new friends, go shopping occasionally, eat garbage, drink whatever you feel like drinking, and just enjoy each other's company while you craft. That is what the Makers Meetup is all about. For those of you who have not heard about this event, it was formerly the Frivolous and Frugal 3-Ply Podcast mini meetup. It has now been redone as the Makers Meetup, run by Penny of PJ Knits and her friend Kendra, and an amazing event, just full of friends and creating. This is what I worked on, I would say, most of the time there. So I went out there on Thursday evening. The meetup does not officially start until Friday. So they rent a conference room and everybody gathers in the conference room. You find a place at a table, you sit there, you knit and eat and whatever. So Thursday night we were in the lobby and I was working on this, and I was sitting across the table from my friend Cheryl, and Cheryl said, I hate to call you out, Cheryl, but she said, and I agree with her on this, so I do not take this as an awful criticism. I think this is a good, I am always open to constructive criticism. If there's something I can do about it, that's great. If you're just gonna slam me for whatever, like, oh, you're ugly, then obviously no. But if you're gonna give me constructive feedback, I appreciate that. So Cheryl said that she saw this on the screen and said, it's not high enough contrast, which about this, I'm deliberately showing just the top. I totally get it. Yes. But when you look at it like this, you can see that green at the bottom. And that stands out a whole lot better. Now, Cheryl did say that seeing it in person, she felt like the contrast was a lot better. Now, here's the rub. So, looking at this part, how well you can see this contrast, I love that. But the trees at the top, they do not stand out as much. And I am doing this specifically to be a Christmas sweater. And between now and Christmas, I may change my mind again. But here's what happened. I was at the meetup, just knitting along on this project. And suddenly it occurred to me, these needles seem awfully big for knitting a fingering weight project. So I pulled the needle out and I looked at it, and I had to wear my glasses to see on the Chow-Gu, you know how you can see very faintly on the side of the Chow-Gu needle what size it is. I was using a size 8 needle, a US 8. I wish I knew what that was. Oh, I actually had to use one of those measuring things. That's what it was. Colleen, Selfish Knitter, was sitting next to me. Thank you for letting me use that, Colleen. She had one of those needle sizer things, and so I kind of looked to see what size needle I was using on that, because the glasses didn't do it for me. Anyhow, not important. Size 8 needle on fingering weight yarn. And I thought, oh, that's why you can see this contrast so much better. And then the next day, I think it was, I looked back either at the pattern itself or at my project notes or something. It is supposed to be knit on a size 3, US 3. So I thought to myself, how did this happen? How did I end up having a size US 8 needle in this project when I started with a size 3? I don't know if I wrote in my project notes that it was a size 3 and I gauge swatched and used a size 8, but really what I think happened is I do believe that I started this in a 3. You can really see the difference in the tightness of the gauge, and maybe if I block this, I will find that I like it better. But what I believe happened is I started it in a 3. It went into hibernation for a long time. And my guess is that one day I needed a US 3 needle for some other project, something new I was starting. And I went looking for a 3, and I found this project with the US 3 in it. And I swapped out that needle, and I had the US 8 that I probably wasn't using. So imagine how I had to squeeze that size 8 needle into the stitches from this size 3 project, and just decided this is what I'm gonna do because I want that needle. That's all I can imagine, is that that's what I did, because I really like how the color work stands out in that US 8 needle. It's coming out beautifully. But my trees, I can't see the trees. So my thinking is I might rip back. But first I'll block. I will block this to see what I think of this. I just don't know. So since then I went down in needle size to do the body, because I really was on the round and round part when I got there. And so I did all of these rounds of stockinette. What is that, like 4 inches there? I did all of that at the meetup. And usually I feel like when you're doing social knitting and you wind up tearing out, it's because you made a mistake that, you know, was something you can see in color work or lace or some kind of texture. But no, I was using the wrong size needle, only because I swapped it out at a time that I didn't care. Yay. So the other work in progress that I have from the meetup is my socks that I really didn't do much on. I really thought this was going to be the project that got mostly finished, but these are vanilla socks on, oh, and the yarn for my Hinterland, that, by the way, that was by Jennifer Steingass. I'm sure I had it up here. Anyhow, it's all in my show notes. But this is mustache yarn, in her Old Glory colorway. I bought a must match set, and isn't this so cute how it is coming out? These self-striping yarn dyers, they're amazing. I may have mentioned this on the last episode, but I ordered some self-striping yarn from Turtle Pearl Yarns. She was having a birthday sale, and it was such a bargain, not only because of the sale, but because of the exchange rate. She is a Canadian dyer, so the exchange rate from Canadian dollars to US dollars is really good right now. So any of you who are considering buying yarn through the internet, I highly recommend go Canada. Speaking of Canada, I had some time to knit with some Canadian friends. Darlene, I'm specifically thinking of you. It was so nice to sit and catch up for a bit. I only wish that we had had more time and I wasn't so hungry. I had a lot of fun catching up with so many people. I got to catch up with Sally from Kentucky. Hi, Sally. I don't know if you watch. We had met the year before, and I sat, and I don't remember if I sat with her to knit, or I just know that she came up for breakfast one day this past weekend, and I said to her, "You look so familiar." And she said, "Yeah, we met last year." So, anyhow, Sally and Colleen and I went shopping together. I think that's how it happened. I think we ate breakfast. It was Friday morning. We ate breakfast together, and then we said, "Hey, who wants to go shopping?" So we went out, we went shopping, we went to Elgin Knitworks. Is it time? No, it's not. It's not time to head into New to Me yet, because I have one more work in progress. So I'm gonna get into that work in progress, because that also relates to my shopping trip. They were finishing up their week of yarn crawl, and so we went to Wool & Company. That was actually the second store we went to, but I'm going to cover it first because I bought something that I am using as my work in progress yarn, so that's the only reason I'm doing that. But this pattern was the pattern they were giving away for the Chicago yarn crawl. So first thing when we walked in the door, they said, "Hey, are you here for the yarn crawl?" And we were like, "Of course we are. Why else would we be here?" So we got this, and then we put our names into a drawing, and I'm guessing they drew that by now, and I didn't win. So sad. Anyhow, Malmesbury Cowl. And this it looks like you have a ribbing for the cast on, and then this is all herringbone. And I've never done herringbone before. It intrigues me. It intrigues me. And the ladies in my local knit group, Julie, Terry, and Chris, hi girls, I believe they're all planning to do this pattern. So I may end up doing it too. I don't know yet. We'll see. My Turtle Pearl yarns might be good for that. I don't know. Self-striping yarns. Just love them. But I don't know that that's done in a self-stripe. But I could see it being a good option. Anyhow, what I bought at Wool & Company. So let's see, where is, okay, I'm going to get a full skein. This is Madeline Tosh. It is the Pashmina base, which is why I chose it. I had looked online because I knew I was going to do a test knit. So I had signed up for a test knit before I went, and I'm looking for the composition. Okay, 75% superwash merino wool, 15% silk, and 10% cashmere. So Julie, hi Julie, of my local knit group, she has done some stuff with cashmere before, and I have felt it, and I'm like, oh, I love how this feels. I want to knit with this. So I specifically did a search on Wool & Company's website to see what I could find for the test knit that I am doing. So I want to say last Wednesday or Thursday, this test knit came up on Instagram for Isabel Kramer, who is LilaLou72 on Instagram. I have linked her Instagram account below because I don't think I can actually link. Yeah, I can't link the pattern yet because it's still in the test knit phase. But she did say that we are allowed to share this on social media. So I am sharing my progress with you. This is a textured pullover, and this is what I have so far. I just split for sleeves. It is being called Alhambra. And when I mentioned it to somebody at the meetup, and they said, oh, like Alhambra? And I'm thinking, oh, wow, that's somebody who says things that I think. It was someone I had never met before, and it was just kind of a very brief conversation. But I thought, yeah, I always think about how is that spelled? And yeah, Alhambra. So I will have that picture up here. I tried it on earlier with my sports bra so that I could take a picture of what it looks like on. I also, you know, the only reason for the picture is because I wanted to try it on, and I was like, oh, I'm about to record, so I might as well try it on, and you can see what it looks like on. But one thing I'm not loving is how the collar is rolling. There is no finish to this collar in the original pattern, so I probably will add some ribbing to it. It is meant to be done in a fingering weight with a lace weight, so like a fingering and a mohair. I think her original was a fingering and a mohair. So this is my test knit so far. I will say about this, in the test knit group, all of her test knitters are so, what's the word I want to use? Like polished. They're so, you know, the pictures that they post are just beautiful. And like everything is so well curated. And I'm like, I should like put up the pictures that I took as I went, like my gauge swatches and everything. I'm like, my gauge swatch doesn't look like their gauge swatches. Like everybody has like these perfect 4-inch gauge swatches that they've lined on every side with some garter stitch, and I'm like, nope. I did that in the round thing where you've got the strings hanging in back because I do have different gauge knitting in the round than I do knitting flat, and this whole thing is knit in the round. But I love this so far. It is turning out exactly as I had hoped for it to turn out. I just hope that when I do block this, that it doesn't turn out to be way bigger, because my swatch did grow, and I just hope this doesn't grow too much to where I'm feeling like, oh, now this is super oversized and I don't like it. But it is intended to be an oversized sweater. So I think, you know what, no matter what, I'm gonna love it. It's cashmere, it feels beautiful. And that 10% of cashmere, oh my gosh, it just gives it such a great feel. If you've never knit with cashmere before, spoil yourself and do it. Anyhow. So, and that is, I did try, again, gauge. I always have gauge issues. And I think my friend Darlene from Canada is the one who kind of helped me to relax a bit about my gauge swatches, because what happened is I was swatching while I was at the hotel, and I kept going, oh, I'm not getting gauge, oh, I'm not getting gauge. And Darlene, I think it was her, who said, well, but you're gonna block your swatches, right? And I was like, oh yeah, I am gonna do that. I do need to do that. Thank you for reminding me of that. And I did. What I do want to say about this pattern that is new to me, that is really, really cool, she has a saddle shoulder, which I've never done before. So there is this, it's not raglan increases, it is saddle shoulder sleeve cap increases that you do at the top. So it's really cool that, like, you start out with just kind of this fabric in between your yoke, and like it's just a shoulder thing, and then you widen out as you make your sleeve stitches bigger. So I can't wait to finish this. It is so cool. But I did not want to post my pictures of my gauge swatches in this discussion thread on Ravelry, because I thought mine look so unprofessional. I mean, I didn't do a full 4 inches of height. I just did, I want to say I did about 2 inches. But like, so, there are pictures that people have that I'm like, oh, it's so gorgeous. How do you set it up so nicely? Why can't I get that when I take pictures? And part of it too is that I'd rather be knitting than taking pictures. I'd rather be knitting than most things in life. So that's, I think that's why I don't get the results that I would like to get from photography, because I just don't put the same effort into it. So anyhow, that's Alhambra. New to me. Isn't this cute? I feel like I'm at the beach. So perfect summer project bag. This has yet to have a project in it. Inside, it's just plain white with her tag. But this will be carrying socks someday. In fact, maybe I can put a new pair in. And then Christmas in July. So I've got a sweater-sized Santa bag. I could put all my Christmas presents in here, huh? This is huge. I love it. I love it. Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Bags by Awesome Granny. No, her name is on it. She sent this little note. Bags by Awesome Granny, Bruce and Darlene York. And they've got this cute little stationery. So if you're interested, there's the information. I can't tell. That looks very blurry to me, so I hope it's showing up better for you than it is for me. So those are the bags, and then so at Wool and Company, the only thing I bought was the Pashmina. I had them running in circles for me because I wanted this yarn and I knew which colors, well, I know what colors I like. I knew that I wanted something that was a solid or a tonal, and I don't think Madeline Tosh makes solids. So I was looking for what I could get in a tonal color. So they gave me an iPad and said, okay, this is all in the back in the warehouse. So if you want to pick out colors, pick them out from our iPad, and we will bring out whatever colors you want to see better. So I think I picked like 6 different colors, and I made sure, because in looking at their website, you can see how many they have in stock. So I made sure not to choose any that said they just had 2 of them, because I knew that wasn't going to be enough. So I went through, and I probably could have chosen more than 6 because there's so many gorgeous colors. Anyhow, I made the choice, and I kind of narrowed down the choice, and I had Colleen help me figure out which color I wanted. And so Wool and Company, they have customer service down pat, you guys. I mean, it's a big store. They were super busy, and they had these guys running back and forth from the warehouse, and it's all about the service there. They are really, really great with their service. And even though they were super busy because of Yarn Crawl and because of the meetup, they did a great job of keeping up with the demand that we were all putting on them. So I even got, they asked me if I wanted any of my yarn caked up, and I said yes, just 1 skein, please. Because I wanted to get started on swatching, and I just asked for 1 skein to get caked up and ready for me to knit, and they did it for me within, I really thought I was going to have to wait a long time, because there was a what do you call that, a swift that was out there, and a ball winder that was like behind the counter, and I saw that there was a hank of yarn with the start of a ball on the winder, and I thought, oh, they're behind and they're not doing anything there right now. So I was like, oh boy, it's gonna be a while. And you know, customers everywhere, and every staff member busy doing something. And the next thing I know, I see this guy come out with a basket of yarn, and this one woman was standing by the ball winder, and she was like, hey, is anybody gonna, and they said, oh, is this yours? And she was like, oh yeah, there it is. And I thought, I wonder if mine is in that bucket too. So I walked around, and I was like, sure enough, there it is. And so I got to take my yarn and go. It only took a few minutes for them to bring it to the back and cake it up. I think they must have a ball winder in back for the orders that are shipping. So I'm sure for the day, the customers in person took precedent over the online orders that they were trying to fill. So I'm guessing those guys got some overtime. Those warehouse guys, I'll bet they got some overtime then. Okay. From Elgin Knitworks, my plan was find inspiration in the store. I think that's always been my plan when I go to Elgin Knitworks, because I don't really know what they have in stock. So I just go in with the plan of find a sample that they have, because they have a lot of samples. They have amazing samples. And so my plan is find a sample and find the yarn to make that thing. So they had, I'm going to put it up here. I bought the pattern there. That's another service that I love at Elgin Knitworks. You can buy patterns through Ravelry, and they kind of like send them to your account. I don't know exactly how that works. I think it's probably the same way as like if I gifted a pattern to somebody. I've done that before. So anyway, they will do that and send it to your Ravelry account. So Davenport is the I didn't remember they did this. Okay, so they printed out the pattern for me. So this was the cowl, and what it is there's color work on the outside, and the inside is a fingering weight held with a mohair. So you've got these lovely contrasts of color from the outside, and then the inside is this pop that you can just kind of fold down. And the idea of the mohair against my neck sounds amazing. So I saw this. I love this barber pole yarn. I love this effect. I have admired spin cycle yarns for years and never bought any, because justifying the price always just seems to be a little too much for me. And I feel like someday I will get that. But other people have been doing it just as well, I think. So this is Queensland. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. I think it's Brisbane. It's spelled like Brisbane, but I think it's pronounced Brisbane. And of course, I saw this and fell in love with the colors immediately, because these are my colors. And so when I saw this, I thought, this is the one. This is the one. And I had already seen the cowl, and I didn't know whether or not I could do the cowl in this colorway. But I brought it up and I asked, I think it was Linda. I asked her what she thought, and she said, well, this is a bulky weight, so you're going to have to match it with another bulky weight. And then for the inside pop of color, what you need to do is maybe hold a DK or a worsted together with a mohair, and that'll give you that effect. So I chose this Madeline Tosh. See this lovely purple? I don't think there was a colorway listed on this. Oh yes, there is. The Feels. So this is TML Triple Twist. is the yarn base. It's 100% superwash merino wool. This one is superwash, 100% wool. So they go well together. And take a look at how that's going to be a really nice contrast, because I like those little, like, not quite purple, like a pinky purple in there. So I feel like they contrast well, but yet coordinate well. And so I'm thinking for the inside, if I have enough left over. Oh. Now, I have plans. I have plans for the garden cardigan, which I've talked about, I believe, on previous episodes. In fact, I think my last episode I did. So this is my Madeline Tosh that I'm using for the test knit Alhambra. And this is what I'm planning for the garden cardigan. This is, I want to say, I believe this is Nitty McPurley, her Surrey alpaca. So these two together as a pop of color inside this. So I think that'll be great. But it's going to heavily depend on what I have left over. And I can always buy more if I need it. So there's that. That's the plan with this. Did I mention Davenport Cowl by AOP Designs. What would you say? AOP? AOPI? I don't know. I don't know. So that is that. Now, something that I have not mentioned so far as new to me is that I have new bags for giveaways, because Sandy was there. Oh, let me straighten myself out. Sandy was at the Makers Meetup. Hi, Sandy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. She gave me a whole bunch of bags to give to you. So you guys get to have new bags. Now, something I discovered when I was fluffing my stash earlier this week. So as part of my Fluff Your Stash Mal, what I did is I had a huge pile of project bags over here on the floor, just like, these are whips, and they kind of collect when I'm recording, and then I kind of like, if I'm not focused on that project, it ends up just like staying in the pile over there. So I organized things, and I have now a bunch of lined up project bags on the floor. There's the projects that are works in progress in one area, and then along my dresser over there that you can't see, there's projects that I have yarn intended for something specific but haven't yet cast on. So I counted 13 projects that I have yarn for and haven't yet cast on. And then when I was sitting and knitting yesterday, I thought of a 14th and I was like, oh yeah, where's that? So I think I need to cast things on. Or maybe I need to finish things I started, or both, or both. But with the Fluff Your Stash Mal, I am counting this floor cleanup as, she says, one of the things that you can count as coloring in yarn balls that I have not colored in yet is organizing, I think a drawer or a bin is the way it's phrased. I'm counting my floor. I'm counting my floor because this is organized in a way that I can visually see everything right now. And this is my craft room. This is the space that I have for it. So it may not be a bin, it may not be a drawer, and maybe someday it will get into bins or drawers. But that's where I'm at with this, and so I'm counting it, and I think Stephanie would approve. Do you approve, Stephanie? Are you watching? Anyhow, when I was fluffing my stash, I came across another bag that I still have. So I have this bag that has not been given away yet. So for those of you who were smart enough to watch this far, this bag will be today's giveaway. So I want to talk to you about something that happened at the meetup. And this is going to lead into the prompt for the Sandy Bag giveaway. So on Saturday night, so we're toward the end of everything, a lot of people had left. It was just a few people left in the room. And so we were hanging out, just a small group of us. And we had actually, I had been in, there were two conference rooms. And I had been in the other one, and as I was walking toward the one that we were supposed to be in, the main conference room, I saw Stephanie in the hallway. Hi, Stephanie. Stephanie Benson. She's frequent commenter here on the channel, and you know, I've never really had a chance to sit and talk with her at length until Saturday night. So I sat and I talked with her for a while, and we talked about some personal things, and it was really nice to sort of get to know each other more and learn about each other's families and things like that. And it was one of those moments where it was this one-on-one conversation where it was just two people getting to know each other, learning about each other's lives in more detailed and more authentic ways than just, look what I bought. And so recently I have had sort of this thing where I like to hold on to a moment. And I remember a couple years ago, Christmas time, sitting in the kitchen with my sister-in-law and having a conversation with her and thinking, I need to hold on to this moment. This is one of those moments that I'm just so happy that I just need to remember, not anything specific about it, just that this is one of those moments that doesn't come along often. And it's just the relating to a person and enjoying it and loving it. And that when things get rough, remember that moment. And so that's, I felt like I had that moment with Stephanie. I don't know if you felt the same way too, Stephanie, but it was a nice, you know, heart to heart moment. And I want to know, Do you do that? Comment below if you want to be included in the drawing. And if you feel like commenting and want to recuse yourself from the drawing for some reason, just let me know in the comment. You don't have to say, you know, I've already got one, or I want to hold out for a different one, or whatever. Just let me know. If you want to be included in the drawing, comment about having moments to hold on to, having, you know, personal friend-to-friend things, or whatever it is. I even had, like, last year, the 22-23 school year, I remember that things were going so well for me when I had so much self-doubt the year before, and sometimes in other positions that I have been in at work. And last school year, I remember thinking to myself, hold on to this. Hold on to this feeling of being valued for what you do, because it could be snatched away from you in a heartbeat. And I could not tell you how right I was about that, because when I got pulled into the HR office, having a conversation with the head of HR and my building principal, I was like, how did I get here? How is this even possible after what I did the year before? And my position was not that different. So anyhow, comment below if you want to be included. Give you a sneak peek of some of the ones that she gave me this time. Hello 70s. Love that. Love that. Like, I feel like I am in my kitchen at the house that I lived in when I was like a young kid. This green, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I can't get over it. Okay. So, but this one is the one I'm giving away today. That's all I have for today, and I want to thank all of you so much for watching, and every time that you do comment, like, subscribe, that helps me get out there more, and that helps me to be able to give away more of these. So please comment below, and I will see you in the next, oh wait, no, my tagline. Please remember to like, subscribe, survive, and thrive. I'll see you in the next episode.